Good evening, everybody, and welcome to URC. And we're here in Spain now for round 5 of the season. Not even a quarter of the way through the season yet, just showing how much of a challenge this is for the drivers to keep competitiveness across the season, because we've probably been going longer than previous seasons have been going, with obviously the race every couple of weeks. So a real test of stamina, and we're into the European leg of the season now. And at the moment in Tier 2, which of course, as always, is our race to start the night's action, our championship leader is ERL Chimera, who's currently on provisional pole. We're just seeing the first few laps coming in now from the drivers, but with 13 minutes still to go, there is still plenty of time for improvement, and there no doubt will be, because at the moment people on the hardest possible tyres, the mediums, so they're either going to be setting their proper laps on the softs or the super softs. So it's just a case, as always, of them finding their feet in this run and then going for it later on in the session. As I mentioned though, there, Chimera, who we're on board with now, just doing a second lap, is our championship leader. Level on points with ERL Vader, who missed the last race and is also missing this one as well. They've got a reserve in, ERL Marbasa, making his first appearance of the season for the team. He has been on their books since the start of the season, but hasn't been around so far. And nice to see a new face there. Obviously last time out, Tom123 really could have won the race, but just had a really poor start. Then was kind of closing in on ERL Chimera, made a mistake, closed him back down again towards the end, but wasn't quite enough. So watch out for him. At the moment he's the closest challenger. Oh, he's just gone into the gravel there. Managed to keep it out the wall though, which is the key thing. He's living to fight for the rest of the session, which is a good thing for him. But yeah, he was the closest man now in the championship to those leading twos. A couple of second places separated by consistent top 10 finishes in between, in Bahrain and China. So he's looking pretty good. The current gap is 12 points to that leading duo. And then we have ESR Amaze in the 183 Esports team, driving the Williams, who DNF'd last time out. And that was a real shame for him. Would have been a good opportunity for a 4th consecutive podium. He was 3rd in the opening 3 rounds and currently sits on 45 points. So again, pretty close by, but would have been disappointed by that result last time out. And then the final man I'm going to mention is WR Clone Troop. He's been someone who kind of went under the radar at the start of the season, currently in the pits. But he's now on 41 points with 3 top 5 finishes, of which 1 was on the podium last time out in Baku. And he's been in the points every race, so he's on 41 points, 27 off the championship lead. He could do something if he continues his current rich vein of form. We've only got 17 drivers here today. Unfortunately, TSR, Temper Shoot, aren't around, and we are missing... who else are we missing? Sorry, we're missing one of the Thrive drivers. There has been a bit of a change at Thrive Esports. They will be closing down, but the drivers could be continuing on after this week under a different name. We will have to wait and see. But for this week, we've only got Pickless representing that. Yeah, that's a little bit of a shame. But hopefully those drivers will continue to compete. They've been reasonably solid so far in this season. Right, so cars coming into the pits now. They've had their look around and they're ready to up the ante, I'd imagine. Top 10 currently on the medium compound tyres. We've seen 1 lap in from LCR Apex on the super soft tyres, but it wasn't a particularly fast one. Is he going for another push here? I think he is. Of course, as always, it's a question of strategy. If you qualify on the super soft tyres, that's going to make the race a lot harder strategically. So most people don't seem to do it, but in the last couple of races we've seen a man on pole position having started on the softest compound of tyres, and that's obviously benefited them in qualifying, but then cost them in the race. Neither of them got a good result out of it. But Apex is coming in, so don't think there's really anyone out there at the moment on a proper flying lap. Does take a while to get into the session and really see these times kind of come in. But early signs are that it's pretty tight, because it's less than 1/10 of a second separating the two ERL guys, and then Jam Pancakes, who had a fantastic debut last week actually. A really good performance, just missed out on the podium, ended up in 4th position if I'm correct. And yeah, just a really great performance. Yes, it was 4th. To start his URC career. You couldn't ask for more, really. And his teammate has just popped up into 2nd position there. It was his 4th lap on the compound tyres. But he's 15 thousandths off. That's good signs there for Livid Racing. 2 cars in the top 4, taking the fight to ERL early on in this session. We know that Sync will be strong with Ben Ziller, who of course was pole position last time out. Crashed from the lead, unfortunately, in the race. And Tom, as I mentioned, competitive. And also this, the PFL team is an interesting one. Bartek Fraz at the moment is 6th in the championship, but he's quite a long way off. He hasn't really had a good result yet. He hasn't actually had a top 5. But we've seen so much pace from him. And it shocked me when I looked at it and thought, he hasn't finished in the top 5. If he puts a race together, he'll definitely be fighting for the podium. So watch out for him. And he's joined by a new teammate this time out as well. In... I don't know how to pronounce that. Sija. That could be completely wrong. I'll just go with that. PFL Sija. Tell me if you know how to say it. Try and put it phonetically in the chat or something. But yeah, so quite a few new faces actually. We've got another one here as well. John's all... I don't know where the... Oh, it's probably John Salonika, isn't it? Sorry, John Salonika. So another new face there. So, could see some new faces then towards the front. Top 8 currently in the pits. But ESR Amazed is on a lap. 3 podiums for him on the super soft tyres, so he's going for it. Most people currently still in the pits selecting the soft compound tyres. You can just see that changing as they're about to come out. So they're obviously going to go with those tyres. But Amaze committing to the super soft tyres and just completing the outlap here. I know, he's coming straight back in. Interesting. Wonder what that's all about. So Chris Mackes completes another lap on the medium compound tyres. I think we saw this last week from him, where he went really long. Well, certainly someone did it. Went really long on the medium compound tyres into qualifying, and then just had 1 lap at the end on the super softs. But he's getting his iron. He's improved again, actually, on that lap, just slightly, not position-wise, though. So, watch out for him, but he is leaving it quite late. Here's a BPRL Goblin, he's going on the super soft tyres. And Apex is, again, I saw him on those tyres earlier, so he's obviously committing to those. Of course, it was his teammate, Ben, who started on pole in China doing that kind of strategy, going for the softer compound tyres, but he's currently got the softs on, but he hasn't come out on track, so we don't know whether that's what he's committing to. But we just haven't seen it work, the softer compounds yet, but it does kind of depend on the track. If you can make the strategy work, it's not a problem, but we just haven't seen anyone do it yet. It is quite beneficial to start in the middle compound. Let's have a look at Goblin. He's just started his lap there. He's gone through the fast turns 1 and 2 chicane. Now building up, using all the track there, which is interesting to see. Braking under the bridge, again very wide on the track. Probably a little bit wider than you would want through there. Now setting it up through the hairpin. This will be where the tyres really help him through this fast bit here. Just giving him a little bit more grip. Obviously they'll help everywhere around, but towards the end of that you might be just starting to lose a tiny bit of grip from them. Into this final sector now we go. And this is where so much time can be won or lost. It's a very weird thing. Really kind of always lost it there. That would have lost him a lot of time. Rear end snapping out on him. But yeah, this sector here, just the slow chicane is pretty Mickey Mouse, you'd say, but it could cost you so much time if you get it wrong. He looks to have got it pretty well. Oh, nobody's had to avoid the stricken car of Clone Troop, and that's ruined his lap. I don't think it was going to be a great lap anyway, because he lost the rear in that start of the third sector, but that really cost him there, having to get out of the way of Clone Troops, who's out the session. Apex. He's oh, sorry, Apex just completed his lap last time out. He's coming into the pits, probably going to dive in, put another set of super soft tyres on and go out in the last seconds. He's currently 8th. He would have hoped for better for that, to be honest, on the super soft tyres, considering everyone else has set their times on the mediums so far. They're on the softs now, but they haven't actually set a lap on them. We are seeing people now getting onto their laps. Here comes Tom. Oh, he's run wide there. He's had to back out. Benzilla, he was pole last time out. He's just about to start a lap, making sure he's got clear air. There's a Williams out in front of him. Not sure who that is. Well, that will be Amazed, who is now back out on the soft compound tyres. Having done that quick installation lap on the super softs. Not sure what that was all about, but now he's on the soft compound tyres, chucking it into turn 1. I'd say most people would see Amazed as the strongest driver so far outside of VRL in this tier. But last time out was a bad race for him, so want to bounce back. Bartek Fraz has just got to the top with 17.3. Only a couple of tenths quicker than the current time, or the previous whole time though. So that should be beaten. We've still got 2 minutes left as well, so plenty of time for these guys to improve. Stay on board with the Maze now as he comes into this critical final sector. And he'll just be hoping that it's clear here, because if there's a car in the way, it's so off-putting at this part of the track. It's bad anywhere, but I'd say especially in here, you don't want cars in the way. Looks like he's got lots of clear air though. I think I saw a Alfa Romeo just up the road. Where can he put it? He'll want to go pole. Can he do it? No, that's a... It's not even an improvement, I don't think. That's very disappointing. Tom, of course, backed out of his previous lap. He's going to the end of another one. Ah, there we go. That is interesting. The new driver here for PFL has gone on to provisional pole with just a matter of seconds to go. Tom has backed out of another lap by the looks of it. Williams there. That'll be Marbasa. Session where can Marbasa go? He could go into second position. Splits the PF, got enough for pole, and that's what Kimura does. He moves the time by 0.3 of a second there. Big improvement from him. Here comes Glitcher, currently in 5th. He goes into second place. A 10th quicker than CJ, but not near his pace. And Tom's in the pit, so Tom's session is over without really setting a proper lap. It's going to be very disappointing for him. Here comes Benzilla. Kind of the hopes of Sync Motorsport resting on him, but he's pulled out. That's disastrous for him. Where is Jam Pancakes? Here he is, coming into the final sector now. Could he put himself onto pole position? Had a fantastic start to his career in Azerbaijan. What can he do now? He doesn't improve, he stays 7th. And I think that's going to be the order that we see. Amazed is giving it another go. These tyres probably have enough life in them to give them another lap. Oh, as Bartek Fraz has shown. Completely missed that. He's gone up into second position now. Just over a tenth off Kimura. His teammates all over, so it is now down to Amazed. Amazed is the only man really left out there. Chris Macker-Jones going into sixth position. But Amazed has retired, so I think we have got Kimura on pole once again. What can Goblin do? I guess he is the last man. On the super soft tyres, can he make use of them? Not traditionally someone we saw towards the top, but can the tyres give him the boost that he needs to put in a top time? Here he comes towards the line now. Oh no, that's disastrous. That's the worst possible result for BPRL Goblin. Oh, that is disastrous for him. He's gone 10th position on the super soft tyres, which means he'll have to start on the tyres, but doesn't have a great position. Oh, that's gutting. That is gutting. That's exactly where you don't want to finish. You'd rather be 11th with the super soft tyres, because then you have choice of tyres. Oh, that's very disappointing for him. And it's probably better than he would usually start. I don't think Goblin's got a point yet so far this season. No, he hasn't. So, better than he would usually start. But 10th is not ideal. That is a shame. That's going to compromise his race quite badly there. Let's have a look at the final classification then. It is Iro Kimura. BPRL Goblin's just put in the chat. Just my luck, yeah. I feel quite sorry for you there, mate. But yeah, Kimura on pole then. Two PFL guys, second and third. Elog Glitcher, strong performance from him. And look at the Polish drivers there, second, third and fourth. ESR Amazed is in fifth. Chris Macker-Jones sixth. Marbasa seventh on his first appearance. Here, Pickless eighth. The Soul Thrive driver. Jam Pancakes, disappointing I'd say, in ninth. BPRL Goblin 10th. Then it's LCR Ben. Tom123 Benzilla, very disappointing for Sync. Then Apex Imp, Clone Troop, and John Salonika. So that is our grid, and of course, no formation lap. We're going straight into the action now. And it's going to be an interesting one here. The PFL guys put themselves in a very strong position. It's the first time we've seen they've struggled in qualifying in general, of both their drivers, but particularly It's Pro Gamer, the second driver. But now they've got both their cars there, Bartek Frez and Sieger. Yeah. That's not the right pronunciation, is it? But I'll just go with it. You don't know how to say that. Here we go then. Just waiting for the drivers to ready up now, ahead of our first race of the night. Just getting the countdown clock now. Drivers making their final decisions on tyres if they're outside of the top 10. And here we go. So it is ERL Kimura on pole. And it's lights out and away we go. Kimura looks like he's got a pretty good start, but Bartek Frez is challenging him into turn one. We seem to have lost Sieger completely. I don't know where he's gone. He wasn't on the grid. So that's very disappointing for him. But Kimura keeps the lead at the start, just fending off Bartek Frez. Elog Glitcher into third position then. ESR Amazed in fourth, Chris Macker-Jones in fifth. So drivers really holding their positions, apart from the two Sync drivers who've made great progress. Tom makes up another position there, moving up into sixth. He started outside the top 10, remember, so that is very good for him. Mabasa trying to fight back, but in his efforts to do that, he's going to be passed by Benzilla here, I think. No, he just holds on around the outside there. Kimura is away at the front, fended off Bartek Frez at the start, and now has that advantage. Apex and Sieger just don't seem to have started. I don't know what has happened there. Oh, we've probably got internet connection problems here by the looks of it. That is such a big shame for those two guys. John Salonika has made a as well. He's up for the back of the grid, up into 12th position for 183 Esports. But look at Kimura getting away at the front there. Fantastic start for him. Almost a second advantage. Yeah, now a second advantage as he crossed the line at the end of the first lap. And any challenge from Bartek Frez is it's going to be a few laps down the line now. Glitcher holding a nice third position, but he's got a Maze behind him. Plenty of battling going on between Benzilla and Marbasa, but Benzilla is now through. Those Sync Motorsport guys have had the best of the starts. We look at the position change, both of them up 6 places, of course. We did see a couple of cars on the grid, but still, up 6 places. Very, very good start for those guys. That's exactly what they want. Let's have a look at what tyres everyone's on. Yeah, our leading guys all on the soft compound tyres down to 12th position. There we've got Imp on the medium tyres along with Jam Pancakes. Look at that BPL Goblin. What a shame for him. On the wrong tyres and all the way down in 15th now as well. So that's not gone very well for him whatsoever. Kimo continues to extend his advantage massively at the start of this race. Doesn't have the backing of his... here comes Seja, but he didn't start the race, so that's not going to be... That's not going to be any benefit to him, unfortunately. He's not going to be able to partake in this race, even though he's just joined the lobby now. What a shame. But yeah, going back to Kimo, he doesn't have the benefit of having a teammate to support him this time because Marbasa's down in 8th position. But it doesn't look like he needs it. He's got the pace. John Salonika picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings already. Quite easy to get them around here, especially in that last sector. Got to be careful, and John Salinika's shown that already. Tom is up another position, just missed that, sorry, as he goes past on Chris Macker-Jones. What a start this has been for him, making up for that poor qualifying. And Sync in general, bounce back. Benzilla next up, and looks like he's got the pace to follow his teammate through this field at the moment. Little bit of a gap between Amazed and Tom, almost a second. And then these guys pretty close. Bartik Fraz, Glitcher and Amazed. But look at that, Kimo now over 2 seconds in front. And what an effort it's been from him so far in this race. Just doesn't look like anyone's got a response to it. We have seen in previous races, ERL obviously. Oh, Amazed looks down the inside there. I thought he was going to show a wheel. That would have ended in contact. But he didn't in the end, just backed out. We have seen ERL dominate, but not in the early stages of the race. Often there. Oh no, Amazed is now going side by side. Very optimistic move, and it hasn't worked out for him. He's lost a lot of time there, and now he's being passed by Tom. Another place up now for Tom. Oh no, massive crash. They're both into the wall. And they're both down many, many places into 8th and 9th. Looking to see if there's any damage. It looks like they seem to have miraculously got away. Oh no, Tom has, but no, Amazed. Big, big damage on that car. On the front wing. We've got his teammate trying to go around the outside, John Salonika, but then he's run off the track. I think Tom's got away without damage, but he's lost a lot of places out of it. Benzilla benefits as he's now going around the outside of Chris Macker-Jones. So he's still got one Sync Motorsport guy in the top 5 now. But what a disaster for Tom and Amazed. Obviously, Amazed trying to go around the outside into the final corner on Glitcher. Didn't work, put him offline. Then Tom snuck down the inside, and then they just made contact on the exit of the corner, dragged both of them into the wall. Amazed coming out much, much worse with major damage. But not as bad as you might think, though, actually. Hasn't lost the front wing in its entirety, but it's still bad. We've got a yellow out there in Sector 2. I don't know what that could be for. Is that Pickless or... Pickless and Goblin a long way off, so maybe one of those guys having a problem. But that is a big talking point there. Tom, let's just go on board. I really don't think he's got any damage. I think he's got away with it. So his race not completely ruined, but compromised still, and loses out on what was a fantastic start now. That's completely neutralised. Be a little bit worse than he would have been hoping for. But yeah, the benefits out of this, probably Shazoo Racing. They've moved up a couple of places. Chris Macker-Jones benefiting, and Clone Troop as well. So those got 7th, looking pretty good for them. Marbasa going down the inside now on Chris Macker-Jones. He's looking to be with his teammate up towards the... He's not going to get that move stick. Chris Macker-Jones just holds it. But the gaps have really spread out now, unfortunately, because that incident. Glitch has got a bit of a gap to Benzilla, although we know Benzilla's going to be charging hard. See our Ben just down in position there. Mabasa still having a look at Macca Jones, but in... Oh, Clone Troop now down the inside. Surely he's not going to make that stick. No, Mabasa holds it. But Clone Troop being quite optimistic there as Mabasa just ran a little bit wide. Under the braking. Just getting that slightly wrong. Opening the door for Clone Troop, but Clone Troop not quite able to benefit. Of course, we're well into DRS territory now, so should be able to get him on this straight, you would imagine. At least be side by side going into the braking zone, which he is indeed, and he's got the inside line, which you think would be enough. Ooh, Mabasa tries to close the door, but in his efforts to get through, he's lost out badly, and Tom has made contact with Mabasa there. Mabasa being hit around all over there. Just kind of tried to turn in to stop Clone Troop getting through, but that was just kind of had to concede that. Just made a slight contact. Tom was down the inside, and then Tom made contact. So Mabasa quite unfortunate there, but really if he'd just conceded the place in the braking zone, wouldn't have lost out. I think Clone Troop had that quite comfortably. 5th and 6th out of the Suzuki Racing cars. In between the two sync cars. Benzilla not making the kind of progress I would have expected on Glitcher. So charging hard up the field, up into the top 5, but maybe struggling to go much further than that is Benzilla. But look at that, the front key mirror, 3.2 seconds. He's got this. And it's looking like he's going to move to the top of the championship quite comfortably at the moment with Tom down in 7th. He's going to take a massive championship lead, 25 points on his teammate, obviously not racing today, URC Vader. Long way to go, but just looks already very ominous for Key Mirror. Tom is through on Chris Macca Jones. Let's see our Ben trying to get through as well. Penalty for Chris Macca Jones. That looked a little bit harsh. Seemed like it just ran wide, but another kind of instance there of one car going down the inside and then Ben trying to follow through. Ben now going really outside. That's going to be brave if he can get that done, and he does. Just swoops around the outside of Chris Macca Jones. Fantastic move there from the Alfa Romeo driver, Team LCR. And he's into 7th position. Tom already charging back through. Look at this. So the question of whether he had any damage has been answered. He doesn't. He was very, very lucky not to get damage out of that. Oh, there's a John Salonika into the wall. Just losing it on the gravel there. Put a wheel onto the gravel. And lost out. Very, very badly. Big damage there. Just see his wheel rolling down the straight. He's really lost that badly. He won't be going any further in this race. He had a couple of penalties anyway, so I don't think a good result was on. Macca Jones is into the pits. That's a shame for him. Shazoo looked at a good position, 5th and 6th. But Macca Jones now into the pits very early. Lap 8. Jam Pancakes is 9th. He hasn't had a good race so far, but there's been so many people running into trouble that he's still in the top 10. Quite a lot of action we've seen so far in this race, I think it would be fair to say. As Benzilla's gone past on LR Glitcher. And pulled away 8/10 as well, so now Benzilla maybe is getting the pedal to the metal. A few laps where he just wasn't really making much progress, but he is now on the move again. He's got Baz in his sights, so we're chasing down him, but he's got work to do. Over 2 seconds that gap currently. And Tom, having made up another position now, trying to close down the second Shazoo driver of Clone Troop. He's looked so fast the last couple of weeks as Tom, but he's just had a multitude of problems in Baku and now here in Spain. Such a shame, but he's still picking up good points if he finishes in 6th, and I think he'll probably end up higher than that as well if he continues this pace for the remaining 24 laps of the race. Mabasa is in 8th. He would have been hoping for better, really. I think this is his teammate up at the front, but that's still pretty good points for him. just backing up the effort that Kimo is putting in at the front. Of course, URL doing very, very well at the moment. 72 points clear in the league championship here in Tier 2, so just these kind of small contributions is all they really need from their second driver, as long as Kimo is performing. And here comes Tom now, right on of Clone Troop. He's charging through his field so fast. He's got a big gap after this, so it will go quiet for a little bit. Clone Troop covering off the inside there, but then moves back to the outside, and that just allows Tom to go for that move. He gets it done. Oh no, there's a bit more contact there. Tom's into the gravel. Clone Troop just keeping his nose in there. I thought Tom had the move done, but Clone Troop just kept side by side. Made contact. Tom goes spinning into the gravel. He won't have damage again from that, but that's so much more time lost. What a disaster he's having. Clone Troop under pressure now from LCR Ben, who's making such a quiet move up this field, I guess, would be a way of saying it. Just keeping it clean and now trying to go around the outside, and he's got that move done. He got one. Oh no, he hasn't. Clone Troop's fought back. Very nicely done. Didn't give that up. Ben just slightly offline, I guess. Just couldn't quite get that move done. But yeah, Ben just putting in some really solid overtakes here, keeping it clean and moving up the field very, very nicely. A quality drive from him so far. And now he's eyeing up a top 5 position. Almost had it there at turn 1. Couldn't quite cut it down. But look at this. Glitcher now got 5 seconds gap on Clone Troop. That is ideal for him. I just can't get over how many problems Tom's having in this race. I don't think that incident was his fault, I'll be honest. It looked to me like he had the move done. I don't think Clone Troop was ever going to realistically repass him. We didn't quite get a great angle because we kind of had this angle going into the corner, so hard to tell. But just from that point of view, Tom looked like he was quite unlucky out of that. And of course, we don't really know what happened in that first incident either. The camera's just not quite working out for us here, but we have caught them. And just seeing how much time he's lost, it's somewhat of a miracle that he's still in the top 10, really. But he should be up with his teammate in the podium positions, who, as we're talking about, he's making good progress on Bartek Fraus for second position. Ben not quite able to go side by side with Clone Troop like he did last lap, but still very, very close, within half a second. And looking strong so far. We're on to lap 11. This race has flown by so far. We've seen so much incident, and out of all of it, we've got pretty big gaps at the front, but a lot of cars still fighting here tooth and nail for the final spot in the top 5. Jam Pancakes up into 8th. I think he lost out at the start. Obviously didn't have a good qualifying down in 9th position, and then was a very long way down. I think he's making his positions back up. Bebro Goblin has retired from the race. What a disaster for him. Still yet to score a point this season for BPRL. There's his teammate Imp, who of course has only done 1 race this season. Imp came 4th in Australia. That fantastic battle for 4th in Australia. He won out because of the penalties, and he also took fastest lap. So 13 points in his 1 appearance so far. And I think he'll be disappointed to be down in 9th. There's Marbasa into the pits. First of the scheduled stops, I'd say. There's Goblin. You just see he lost it. Going on to the pit straight. Clone Troop seems to be creating a bit of a gap here on LCR Ben. Ever so slightly. Just a couple of tenths he's pulled away compared to last lap. It's worked out nicely for him. Chris Backer-Jones is up into 9th. I'm not sure what happened with Chris Backer-Jones. He came into the pits very early on lap 8, I think it was. Let's just quickly check. Yeah, it was lap 8. So he's doing something a little bit different strategically, or was forced into the pits with maybe a tiny bit of damage. Nothing major, but any bit of damage is enough to really affect your pace and ruin your race if you don't come into the pits. So maybe just changing his strategy because of that, or as I said, maybe it's just a different idea. I suppose we'll never know, but we will see how it goes for him though. Tom is in 11th, so he has now pitted. He's obviously seen how unfortunate his race has gone so far, and probably thought, well, let's just get away from some cars, get some clear air, just show the pace that we know I've got, and try and make up some positions strategically. LCR Ben coming into the pits. These guys go quite long, I'd say, on the softs, 13 laps. But they will last that, obviously. Still reasonable pace in those tyres. And Glitcher running very wide there. He's losing time to Clone Troop. Clone Troop's upped his pace over the last few laps, as he said, he was pulling away from Ben. And now he's gaining on Glitcher, so that's working out nicely for him. And he's being followed nicely by Pancakes, who's also making up a little bit of time. So he's looking strong now. Race is going to Pancakes. He's on the medium tyres. So he's doing something a bit different. So those tyres now coming to him, giving him the grip that he wants. And same with Imp as well, as the other tyres start to fade for the soft runners. They're now benefiting. Not making massive strides compared to Clone Troop, but they are making little gains. Will Kimura go into the pits this lap? Yes, he will. Leader in on lap 13, and so is Bartek Frowes, so is Benzilla, and so is Glitcher. These guys all and so is Clone Troop. So is everyone, basically. All of our runners on softs coming into the pits. There's Ben going through on Mabasa there. Mabasa obviously gained out of the pit stops, but Ben has got that position back. Was in front before the pit stop phase, and now back in front once again. But our top four were very clear at the front, so don't expect any changes there. Kimura out the pits, no problem. Bartek Frowes out the pits, no problem. Benzilla out the pits, no problem. But LR Glitch has lost out to Chris Wacker-Jones. That undercut has worked very, very nicely for Chris Wacker-Jones there. He's obviously on the soft compound tyres, so he will have to pit again. But he's made up a lot of time there. As I said, Glitcher was quite a long way clear, but yeah, Glitcher losing out here. Clone Troop has gained a lot of time as well. That gap was around 5 seconds, and it's now down to just over 2 seconds. So Glitcher's got to watch out here. The Zoo Racers are on their way. Clone Troop has worked that out brilliantly, as Mabasa has managed to get back through again on LCR Ben on the pit straight, I would imagine. And there's Tom, already back on them. Obviously he was fighting with Clone Troop at the time of the incident, but at the time Mabasa and Ben were right behind. So that slightly early stop for Tom has kind of worked out, gained a bit of time, but now he's got the same problem now into battle cars again. And there's obviously the guy that he had that original collision with, the first of the two. ESR Amazed. He's still quite distant, obviously having to change his front wing. And he pitted a long time ago, so he's going to really struggle to make those tyres last the end. By regulation, he's allowed to go to the end, but I don't think it's the best idea for him. Our final runner is Pickless. Something definitely happened to Pickless at the start, because he was a few seconds off quite early on. Not sure exactly what happened to him, but something. He's in 13th, and unfortunately, 2 of the guys didn't start, and we've lost 2 as well, so bit of a shame here. But at least we do still have 13 guys still running. Let's look at the pace now. Let's just look what kind of gains Kimura is making on Imp. Imp and Pancake's yet to stop on the medium compound tyres. This is a critical phase for them. They've got to make sure that they keep pace. Clone Troops picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's not ideal for him. And that close battle, of course, with Mabasa, Ben, Tom. So 3 seconds is going to cost him quite badly. Kimura with the fastest lap of the race. And that is quite a lot of time he's taking out of Imp. So I expect to see Imp and Mancakes probably outside or right on the fringes of the top 10 when they make their stop. And then they'll be fighting through. They would have probably hoped for a bit more pace at this phase, just after the others have pitted, but it's always the way. If you start on the medium compound tyres, you have got to take a little bit of pain here in these few laps. Okay, Goblin has sent in a message just explaining his retirement in the chat. He said his pad is broken. He came out the final corner and his stick was stuck to the right and it just steered him into the wall. Very bad luck for him. Oh, that's a penalty there for Bartek Fraz. That is disastrous for him because Benzilla is within 3 seconds and we know that Benzilla was trying to close down Bartek Fraz. Now he doesn't have to pass him, he just has to be within 3 seconds. So that's worked out nicely for him, but not for Bartek Fraz, who's looking for his first podium. I said I was so surprised the amount of results so far this season. But it's for exactly this kind of reason, just these slight issues with a penalty here or a slight collision. Chris Michael-Jones has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That might be a second as well, actually. He's starting to struggle on those tyres now. Obviously came out, when Glitcher came out the pits, he was a few seconds back, but he's managed to close up on Michael-Jones now. Glitcher tries to go around the outside, but Michael-Jones shows him no space, and there's a bit of collision. Glitcher carries on driving and Michael-Jones is right round. ESR Amazed has retired. What's happened there? I don't know what's happened to him, but he's out of the race. Chris Michael-Jones is round in a spin. What a disaster this has been for Amaze. 2 retirements on the bounce and his early season promise is just disintegrating at the moment. He's going to be so far behind in the championship. What a shame for him. But Glitcher is through on Michael-Jones, but there'll probably be an investigation on that. Not sure what to make of that, really. He was alongside Michael-Jones, but then as they went into turn 2, Michael-Jones kind of worked his way back in front, so tough one to call. It's hard racing for both of them, and unfortunately Chris Michael-Jones has come out a bit badly. But I think Michael-Jones has probably played a bit of a team game there, getting in front of Glitcher, trying to hold him off, is trying to benefit his teammate Clone Troop, is trying to chase him down, obviously. But Clone Troop has that penalty, and at the moment that is going to drop him down close to LCR Ben. It'll be kind of around about where he is, behind Mabasa and Tom, for sure. But Ben just doesn't seem to have the pace in this stint. Looked really strong in the opening stint, but he's fallen back behind Mabasa, behind Tom in this stint. Chris Michael-Jones is in the pits for his second stop. Of course, we kind of knew that was going to happen. That moves Pickless right onto the edge of the points now. Only one more person running into trouble and he'll be there. But we saw what problems Glitcher had getting past on Michael-Jones. Is the same thing going to happen to Kimura now? He's got to make his move on Imp. And I think Pancakes will probably pit. Yeah, Pancakes will probably pit before Kiro gets the chance to catch him up. He showed really good pace actually here, Pancakes. Over 5 seconds. He's into the pits now. Really good pace actually to be over 5 seconds ahead of Imp now. It's a really good effort. I'm interested to see where he comes out. But now the fight for Kimura to regain the lead. He's got time in hand, so he doesn't need to do anything crazy. And Imp doesn't do anything crazy either. He just plays it safe and stays behind. Going into turn 1, Kimura is through into the lead, and now race is in his hands. He's got probably 1 hand and 4 fingers on the race-winning trophy, I'd say. Bartek Fraz has extended his gap on Benzilla. That's critical. Over 3 seconds now, so he will be on to finish in second position. But look at this, Jam Pancakes, fantastic pace, as I said, to pull away from BPRO Imp, and that's brought him out in 7th position. That's ideal for him. Tom also threw on Mabasa. He's still fighting hard, despite the 2 collisions he's had so far. He's determined to come back through the field. But this is playing into Mabasa's, Jam Pancakes' hands brilliantly. We know that Clone Troop has a penalty. And Pancakes has the better tyres now, the soft compound tyres that he's only just put on the car. So he's going to be super, super quick. So if he could dispatch of Clone Troop, he'd probably be able to catch up with his teammate Glitcher. Don't know if he could go any further than that, but that would still be a very good result for the team, 4th and 5th. And yeah, he's put in another solid drive so far, but we'll see what happens. Here comes Imp. He'll probably be behind Ben, won't he? Yeah. So he's a little bit further back, but he could still get a good result out of this. He's probably the one to watch. Oh, as we see Tom and Mabasa go side by side. Mabasa is back through on Tom. Tom fights him through turn 3 side by side. No one giving up. And in the end, Tom just holds on to the position, but Mabasa fighting that very, very hard. Fantastic racing between the two to keep it clean there. Pancakes though down there on the inside of Clone Troop. He'll have the grip surely to get the run now. He does indeed. He's up into 5th position. He's got his teammate up next. He won't fight him. I think they could do a bit of a kind of, I'll let you through, let you try and have a go at Benzilla, and if you can't catch him, let me back through at the end, please, maybe. They do that kind of thing. But, yeah, looking good for Pancakes here for another really good performance. And watch out for Imp as well, as I said, because if he closes up on Ben, then he's not too far away from Mabasa, and then he's right on the back of Tom and also Clone Troop as well. Obviously, Clone Troop with that penalty. Pancakes puts in the fastest lap of the race. That's another point for him. The only man I'd say who could realistically beat that would be Imp, or maybe even Chimera if he saves up his URC, I guess. At the front, he probably could do that, but that's a very good lap there from Pancakes. And just pulling away nicely. 7/10 of a second already on Clone Troop. Just over a second behind his teammates, so he's showing good pace here. But he's got 6 seconds after that to Benzilla. That's quite a lot to ask. In the battle for second, getting onto that. Benzilla back under 3 seconds again. It went over, but now Benzilla's fought back. So that's working out for him to take second position at the moment. Mabasa picks up a penalty as well. So we've seen quite a few drivers with penalties, and he's another one now to pick it up. Look at Ben. I don't know what's happened to Ben in this stint, but he was so strong in the first stint. He's just dropped off this since the pit stops. 3 seconds now behind that pack, and he was up there fighting with them. 19.0 now from Pancakes, and he is now let through by his teammate. 11 laps to go. If he can show that kind of pace, well, he's going to be right on the back of Benzilla. And then, if Benzilla is within 3 seconds, Bartek first could miss out on another penalty. Tom now with a penalty. So Clone Troop, Tom and Mabasa all have 3 second time penalties now. So that evens it out between those guys. Yeah, let's think about this. Yeah, Bartek first could miss out on a podium here. Chris Backer-Jones is retired. Can't quite see what happened there, but he's out of the race. We've only got 11 cars left now. But yeah, Bartek Fraz, oh dear. He's going to be so disappointed if he can't come onto the podium after what has been a really solid display other than that corner cutting penalty. We got a yellow in sector 1. What could that be? It must be Maggie Jones's car, I'd imagine. See if we can see it. Yeah. Mabasa's picked up another penalty as Pancakes goes even faster. 18.8. This has been incredible pace from him. Just getting faster and faster at the moment, which is fantastic signs in his pursuit of Benzilla. And Benzilla is going to catch Bartek Fraz on track here, as Imp looks now to move into 9th position. Of course, the other driver, along with Pancakes, on these soft compound tyres, trying to make the moves. We've got more yellows out there. What could that be for? Nothing obvious. But Imp going around the outside now. He's probably got the grip to try it, but can he make it stick? No, not quite the room there, but now he's got the inside line. He just takes it nicely, and he's got it done on Ben. Now he's in pursuit of Mabasa. And Tom. Quite a bit of work to catch those guys. 3 seconds, but he could do that, I reckon, on those tyres. Pancakes has shown what brilliant pace they give those tyres. Still 4.6 seconds behind at the moment, but still 10 laps to go. So that's enough time if he keeps up similar kind of pace to what he's doing now. Look at this from Benzilla. Within a second. Won't have DRS because he wasn't within a second at the detection. But next time round, he will if he can keep this kind of gap. Kimura comfortable at the front. So no question of that. But the battle for second is well and truly on now. On track. We kind of thought that it would be... Could Benzilla be within 3 seconds? But no, it's going to happen on track here. Between this pair. What I will just quickly do is check to see if Benzilla has a penalty, just in case I maybe missed it, because there have been a lot. He's on 2 warnings, so he's only 1 away from a penalty. So just in case that were to be the case, that he picked up a penalty, he'll probably want to pass Bartek Fraz on track. Won't want to stick behind and then end up picking up a penalty himself. And of course, he might not even be aware that Bartek Fraz has a penalty, because he doesn't have the same kind of information that we have, but his engineer might have told him. We don't know. Jeff's quite inconsistent on this in the game. That gap just over a second again now, so he's not going to have DRS unless he has a good run through here. Oh, he does. He's got it back under a second. So I think he will have DRS. He's not going to get through, but it's still that benefit of just a few tenths now on the straight. Let's see if he's got it open. No, he doesn't. It's still closed on that Mercedes. But he's got a good run out onto the straight anyway. And he closes right down. Pancake's 4 seconds back. So he's made up about 6 tenths there on that lap. That's the kind of benefits he needs. That's the kind of time he needs to make up. As Tom now going side by side with Clone Troop. He's got that move stick. Very well done there to get through at turn 3. That takes a great amount of bravery, and we've seen a lot of drivers going side by side there. But Tom is through up into 6th position. Passed on Clone Troop. Obviously he tried that earlier in the race, got it done, and then had a collision. So a good number of laps later, more than 10 laps later, he's now back up into the position he would have hoped for earlier. He's still got a chance of catching Glitcher, but he would have been right in the battle here, I suppose, for 2nd place. Well, he would be definitely in it without the first collision. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the penalty for Benzilla, so he has got to do it on track now, but he's got the DRS. He's within half a second, so he could have a run here. He doesn't make it stick because Bartek Fraz covers the inside line very nicely. But yeah, he's got to get it done now on track. And if these two start fighting, Pancake, so I believe doesn't have a penalty, could jump both of them now. Benzilla looking around the outside. I don't want to go off this and check the race director just in case something happens between the pair. And I think we're pretty safe in this section of the track. I don't think there's a chance of getting through, so we'll just check to see if Pancakes has a penalty. No, he just has 1 warning. And he is within 3 seconds on Benzilla. And pretty much, therefore, within 3 seconds of Bartek Fraz. So, at the moment, Pancakes is going to jump into 2nd position ahead of both of these drivers now, who have got 3 second time penalties after 3 corner cutting warnings. So this is effectively the fight for the final podium position. Pancakes has just got to hope he doesn't pick up a couple of warnings now. He's just got to keep it clean and he'll get there. But again, as I said earlier, he might not know. He might not know that the cars in front have penalties, so he might end up fighting with them. And we know what that could bring. This is a fantastic opportunity for Benzilla. DRS, side by side, once again covers the inside line, but Benzilla's in front going into the corner and swoops round the outside, makes that move stick, and he moves up into 2nd position, net 3rd. Bartek Fraz isn't going to finish on the podium once again, missing out as it stands. Pancakes, Pickless picks up a 3 second time penalty. 11th place, the sole man at the moment not to pick up a point. It would be a shame for him. Can Pancakes keep these tyres together, the soft compound tyres? He's asking 15 laps of them, which no one did at the start. So That could be the last couple of laps that he starts losing a bit of time again, but at the moment his pace is really, really strong. I'll see how Ben picks up a 3-second time penalty. At the moment we've got quite comfortable gaps here. Imp not really making the progress I would have thought on the soft compound tyres. I thought he'd be up with my Barca by now, but he's not. And Tom is doing a really good job of pulling away from Clone Troop and putting a bit of pressure on Glitcher. He's going to be in the top 5, which would be a good result for him. He was 6th last time out in Baku, so he's gone 1 place better. That was his first point, so it's good now that he's getting into a bit of a rhythm. Pancakes then. Within a second now of Bartek Fraz. Doesn't need to pass him, but will want to. Benzilla pulling away very, very nicely there. He's had fantastic pace over the last 10 or so laps to close in and pass Bartek Fraz. Kima 5 seconds up at the front now. He has been untouchable. No one's had the pace of him. Pancakes will have DRS here. Just opens it up there. But this isn't really an overtaking opportunity because you're kind of coming out the fast corner. You just don't really get the run. And it's not a long enough straight. But still, a couple of tenths gain there, which will just help him now be closer. Going through the chicane, setting up a move for the straight. He's got the grip in the tyres to try something into turn 1. So as long as he's close enough into the braking zone, he can do it. Gap is half a second going on to the straight. That DRS opens. Glitcher's got a time penalty. But all the cars behind him have got it as well, so that's not too bad for him. But here comes Pancakes. Bartek Fraz once again covering the inside, or covering the middle of the track there, which is kind of the perfect position for defence. And therefore, Pancakes had no opportunity of getting through. But now into this middle sector, he could well have a chance because these tyres are going to give him a nice bit of grip coming into the hairpin. But no Bartek Fraz. Again, positioning his car beautifully. Here is Bartek Fraz. And this is allowing Benzilla to pull away. If Benzilla can get 3 seconds, then he might still be able to finish in second position. Here comes Pancakes. Oh, he's just going to have the dirty air through here. That's not going to be very nice. But he's so close. Not close enough to try and move here. Surely. He has a think about it, though. But I think it was just a think. I don't think he was going for it there. He hasn't got much time here. As I said, he doesn't need to get through, but will he know that? I don't know. He'll want to get through either way because he'll want to make sure he's within 3 seconds of Benzilla, but... Here we go. DRS open. This is closer than he was last lap. Where's Bartek Fraz going to put the car right to the inside of the track? Looks around the outside. Just Pancakes. That doesn't quite work. It just means that he's side by side once again. Going into turn 3. And once again going into turn 4. But Bartek Fraz holds on. Once again, fantastic positioning on the track for Bartek Fraz. But now he's run it a little bit wide. Pancakes goes around the outside. But Bartek Fraz has got that inside line, but not quite the grip in the tyres. And Pancakes can make the move. Fraz has a look down the inside, but can't quite make it stick. And look at that. It is now 3 seconds in all that effort. Fantastic battling through the first sector between that pair has allowed Benzilla to get around 3 seconds on Pancakes. So Pancakes has got to keep his pace now. Those tyres will probably still be slightly quicker than the mediums, but the last couple of laps, you don't know. They could go off. I really don't know. He's got to make sure he stays within 3 seconds to pick up second place, and that he doesn't pick up a penalty himself, of course. As I said, Glitcher picked up a penalty, but that's not a problem for him because Tom has one, Clone Troop has one, Mabasa has one. I don't think Imp does. Let's check Imp. I don't think Imp has a penalty, so he could be the beneficiary. No, he does have a penalty. In fact, he might have 2. No, he just has 1. But yeah, all the way down from 5th to 9th now have penalties, so that's an even playing field there. But Imp is still looking to make up a position. Going on the outside of Mabasa. Oh, he's got that move done brilliantly. That was very neatly done. actually ahead going into turn 2, which is a fantastic effort. We've seen a lot of people try that. Of course, Pancake's last lap, they haven't been able to get right in front going into turn 2 and then being side by side going to turn 3, but Imp got that done beautifully. Might be able to catch Clone Troop, but that's going to be a lot of work, especially to pass him as well. So it's looking like it's going to be 8th for him. Pancake's at the moment 2.7 seconds. So he's gained a couple of tenths since he got through on Bartek Fraz. Good signs here for Pancakes. He's on for second position. 18 points to add to his 12 that he picked up in Baku. It's going to be a fine effort from the Livid Racing driver. Bartek Fraz keeping him honest, but he's going to finish off the podium again. What a shame for Bartek Fraz, running second for so long. Glitcher, he's been solid, hasn't had to worry too much about cars around him, has just got on with his work. Tom, we kind of thought might be able to close it down after fighting through twice, but he hasn't quite had the pace to close out Glitcher. Glitcher's driven a good race here for P5. But Tom's going to be happy with 6th from where he was. As an overall result, he's going to be really annoyed with 6th place because he could have been second position, definitely. Pancake's right up on Benzilla. Benzilla's made a mistake somewhere because he's lost a couple of seconds. So Pancake's now definitely going to pick up second position. And he could do it on track as well. The last lap has begun. Kimura has started his last lap, and now these guys follow him onto that. Pancake's 4/10 of a second behind going into turn 1. That's not going to be close enough to try and move. But if you could keep it close through here in turn 3, tough to do with the dirty air, but if he's got the grip, he will. Oh, Clone Troop's passed on Tom. Tom has got a problem. He's had a puncture. His left rear tyre has gone, and what a disaster for Tom. Caps off just what has been probably one of the most frustrating races ever that he's done. He's fought up to 6th position and he's got a puncture on the final lap. LCR Ben is going to benefit and move up into 10th, and you would imagine that Pickless will be able to pick up the final point now. Tom will carry on to the finish. He's not giving up, and that's what we love about Tom. Oh, he's picked up a penalty as well, just to add an insult to injury. Pancake's not able to get through there, so Benzilla is going to finish second on track, surely, unless Pancakes does something silly at the end. But Pancakes will finish in second position because of the penalty. But it's not going to be enough to stop Kimura. He's done it again. Moves to the top of the standings by 25 points. What an effort from him. Benzilla crosses the line for second position, but that will become third as Pancakes moves up there. Bartek Fraz is 4th. Glitcher is 5th, sorry. Then it's going to be Clone Troop. Then it's going to be Imp up into 7th. Marbasa up into 8th. Then Ben. And let's have a look. Pickless closing down on Tom, and Tom runs wide there. So Pickless will get through. Or will he? He's run wide himself. And actually, this could end up being quite close somehow. Going into the last couple of corners now, Pickless is going to get through. What a shame. What a great shame for Tom. As I said, those 2 incidents we didn't get a great view of. We're not sure whether they were his fault. If they weren't his fault, which from the view that we did get, I don't think either of them were his fault. He's been very hard done by in this race. And that puncture means he's going to be the only driver to finish not scoring a point. But, as I said, he keeps fighting. He never gives up, does Tom. Last week he fought so hard for that victory. Couldn't quite get it, and this week he's been very, very hard done by not to score a point there. That's painfully bad luck for him. His first race outside of the top 10, what a shame for him. Really bad for his championship. Obviously, Isar Maze didn't finish either. So, and Iral Vader didn't start. So, Kimura, as I said, 25 points ahead in the championship now. Wow. Look at that, the penalties there. So Kimura dominating, taking the win. Pancake, second place and fastest lap. Very good result from him. No penalties was crucial to him picking up there. Benzilla, fantastic fight through for 13th on the grid to finish third. Barsic Frez had a solid race, but just fell short in the end, finished fourth. Glitcher, as I said, solid for fifth. Clone Troop sixth. Imp, good race from him to finish seventh. Marbasa in eighth. Ben in ninth. Pickless in 10th. Tom in 11th. And then our non-finishers, Chris Mac-Jones, ESR Amaze, BPRL Goblin, John Salonika, and of course we had two drivers who didn't even make the start either. Terribly bad luck for a lot of drivers today, but that is the finishing order. And now we're moving on to Tier 1. I'm going to be streaming Tier 1 today, so it's just going to be a very quick gap while I just get into the Tier 1 lobby, and then we'll be back for that action. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this Tier 2 race, and hopefully I'll catch you in a few seconds' time.